Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the darkest and most divisive true crime cases in modern British history, the Lucy Letby case, a neonatal nurse convicted of murdering 7 babies and attempting to murder 7 more. Even years after the trial, people are still arguing, is she a calculated serial killer hiding in plain sight, or an innocent woman scapegoated for a failing hospital system? If you're new here or you just love true crime deep dives, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a video. Let's get into it. Lucy Letby was born on January 4th, 1990, in Hereford, England. An only child, she was described as quiet, kind, and completely ordinary. She was the first in her family to go to university, studying nursing at the University of Chester. Colleagues remember her as hard-working, competent, and always willing to pick up extra shifts in the neonatal unit at Countess of Chester Hospital, where she started working in 2012. On the surface, she was living a normal 20-something life. Salsa dancing, nights out with friends, 2 rescue cats, a bedroom wall covered in cheerful nursing quotes, and photos of smiling babies. Nothing about her screamed danger. The Countess of Chester was a small district hospital, not a major specialist center. It handled moderately premature or unwell newborns. Before 2015, the mortality rate in its neonatal unit was completely normal, in line with similar units across the UK. Then, starting in June 2015, everything changed. The first baby, known in court as Child A, was a twin boy born prematurely. He had been stable and doing well. Then, suddenly, on June 8th, he collapsed. His skin turned mottled with a strange discoloration. Doctors fought to save him, but he died. The post-mortem suggested air had been injected into his bloodstream, something extremely rare and almost impossible to happen naturally. The very next night, his twin sister, Child B, suffered an almost identical collapse. She survived, but barely. Lucy Letby had been the designated nurse for both twins on both shifts. A few days later, on June 14th, Child C, another premature baby boy, collapsed and died in the same sudden, unexplained way. Again, signs pointed to injected air. Again, Lucy Letby was on duty. By the end of the summer, Child D, a full-term girl, died after rapidly deteriorating. Air embolism suspected. Same nurse present. Consultants started whispering. Something wasn't right. In August, Child E, a twin with bowel problems, suffered a massive gastrointestinal bleed. His mother walked in unexpectedly and found him crying blood. Lucy Letby reportedly told her it was just irritation from the breathing tube. Child E died that night. His twin brother, Child F, survived, but lab tests later showed astronomical levels of synthetic insulin in his feeding bag. Levels so high they could only have been added deliberately. In September, Child G, an extremely premature girl, was repeatedly overfed through her tube. She projectile vomited and collapsed 3 separate times. She lived, but with permanent damage. Every single one of these incidents happened when Lucy Letby was working. When she was off, the unit was calm. By early 2016, the pattern was undeniable. 7 senior consultants raised formal concerns with hospital management. They begged for an independent investigation. Instead, executives ordered internal reviews that blamed staffing shortages, plumbing problems, possible sepsis outbreaks, anything but deliberate harm. Lucy Letby was finally moved to clerical duties in July 2016 after 2 more horrific clusters. In April, twin boys Child L and Child M were poisoned with insulin on the same shift. In June, triplet boys Child O and Child P died within days of each other, and their brother Child Q nearly drowned in unexplained fluid in his airway. It took almost 2 more years, until May 2017, for police to be called. When officers searched Lucy Letby's home in 2018, they found handwritten notes tucked in her diary and under her bed. One read, "I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough to care for them. I am a horrible, evil person. I am evil, I did this. Others were desperate. I will never marry or have children. I will never know what it's like to have a family. They also found hundreds of handover sheets for the affected babies. Prosecutors called them trophies. She had searched for many of the grieving parents on Facebook, sometimes in the middle of the night, years later. The trial began in October 2022 and lasted 10 months. Prosecutors laid out circumstantial but overwhelming evidence. The unexplained spike in deaths and collapses only on her shifts, medical proof of deliberate air injection, insulin poisoning, force feeding, and physical assault, the notes, the searches, the souvenirs. The defense argued the hospital was dysfunctional, chronic understaffing, poor hygiene, outdated equipment. Some babies were already very sick. They said the famous shift chart was misleading because Letby worked the most night shifts. Defense experts claimed the medical findings could have natural explanations or be errors. The handwritten notes, they said, were the cries of a traumatized innocent woman blaming herself for failures beyond her control. In August 2023, the jury found her guilty of 7 murders and 6 attempted murders. They couldn't reach verdicts on 6 other counts. A retrial in 2024 on 1 remaining count also returned guilty. She was given a whole life order. She will never be released. The parents' victim impact statements were devastating. One mother said, "You thought it was your right to play God with our children's lives." Another said their lives were shattered forever. If you're finding this case as disturbing and fascinating as I am, please smash the subscribe button right now and hit the bell. We cover the biggest true crime stories as they develop, and I don't want you to miss what comes next in this one. Fast forward to today. The case is still making headlines. A public inquiry is ongoing, examining how the hospital handled concerns and whether Letby received a fair trial. Dozens of experts, statisticians, neonatologists, even engineers, have publicly questioned parts of the evidence. The Royal Statistical Society criticized how statistics were presented in court. Some draw parallels to past miscarriages of justice. Supporters of the conviction point to the mountain of medical coincidences, the notes, the insulin proof, and the fact that multiple juries and appeal judges have upheld the verdicts. Lucy Letby continues to maintain her innocence from prison. Whatever the ultimate truth, 14 families will never get their babies back. The neonatal unit at Countess of Chester has been downgraded. No more high-risk babies are treated there. This case forces us to ask hard questions. How does evil hide among caring professionals? How do we protect vulnerable patients without rushing to blame individuals for systemic failures? And most unsettling of all, can we ever be completely sure what really happened in those quiet nursery rooms between 2015 and 2016? Let me know what you think in the comments. Guilty or miscarriage of justice? Drop your thoughts below. I read them all. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please give it a like, share it with a friend, and most importantly, subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time we post. We've got more chilling cases coming very soon. See you in the next one. Stay safe out there.